So you're starting to develop a bit of a passion for videography, except you're feeling lost because you have no idea where to find clients as a beginner. Hey guys, my name is Jono. In 2019, my best friend Jason and I were complete beginners who didn't even know how to use a camera. We just started to learn how to make videos, and videography was starting to become a real passion for us, and we wanted to find a way to earn some extra income as a side hustle. Except we had one problem. We had no idea where to even start when it comes to finding clients. And you might be feeling the exact same way. You've found this passion for videography, photography, or content creation, and you want to really take it further, except you just have no idea where to even start. We were facing the exact same problem back in 2019 when we first started, and over the next 2 years, from 2019 to 2021, we managed to build a 6-figure freelance videography business on the side whilst I was working full-time and Jason was studying in law school. And so for this video, I'm hoping that our story can serve as not only just an inspiration for you, but also be a bit of an actionable guide for you to follow so that you can get your first client as a beginner videographer. I'm going to be breaking this video down into 3 main tips, which are based on life lessons that we learned from 3 of our main client experiences we had when we first started out. So tip number 1, get into the mindset of adding value first without expecting anything in return. In today's society, everyone is just so focused on short-term gain and taking and taking and taking. They don't realize that the real way to really win in life is just to give as much as you can without expecting anything in return. Because when you give without expecting anything in return, the world is naturally going to give something good back to you. When we first got our cameras in 2019, we didn't even know how to use them. So after a few months of learning the basics, such as our camera settings, composition, editing, we decided to practice our newfound skill through a real life business. We started reaching out to local businesses in our area, offering to do a free shoot. We told them, hey, we'll come in and do a free shoot because we're new to videography and we're just looking to build our portfolio. Here was the exact message that we sent. After sending about 20 of these messages out to different businesses, one business finally got back to us. It was this Japanese restaurant just 15 minutes away from us, and they were keen to take us up on our offer. At the time, this restaurant was newly open, so their website and their social media pages were looking a little bit bare, and they didn't really have any good photos or videos to showcase what they had to offer on their menu. So we rocked up to this Japanese restaurant on a Saturday morning with a big smile. We rocked up with energy, and we had so much fun shooting this content. So we made 4 social media videos for them and also a library of images for all the different dishes that they offered so that they could use it for their marketing, their social media, etc. After delivering all the free videos and photos, the owner of the restaurant said he really loved them and wanted to invite us into his restaurant and talk about how we could keep working with him going forward. He didn't care that we were complete beginners with 0 experience and no portfolio. The fact that we rocked up with a positive attitude, gave value to his business without expecting anything in return was enough for him to express an interest in working with us. This experience taught me a really invaluable lesson about getting clients as a beginner, the law of reciprocity. This was a concept that I came across after reading this really good book by a guy named Robert Cialdini. The book essentially talks about the 6 weapons that you can use to influence other people. And no, hypnosis is not one of them. And one of these weapons is reciprocation. People generally don't like feeling like they owe someone something. And so when we go out of our way to give someone a free gift or do them a favor, they're naturally going to want to feel like giving something back to us. However, based on our experience, in order to really use this tool of influence correctly, you really need to genuinely try to help people and add value without expecting anything in return. Because if we're not genuine in our intentions and we're only trying to help this person because we're trying to manipulate them to give something back to us, this is not going to work, and human beings are very good at sensing these things naturally. A perfect example of this was when I was traveling in Russia back in 2018 for the World Cup with Jason and also with another of our high school friends, Saddam. This town had this bridge which was the main tourist attraction in the city, and on this bridge there are a few stores that were selling souvenirs, you know, your usual fridge magnets, shot glasses, etc. We walked past about 4 stores without even stopping to look at what they were selling until an elderly man stopped us in our tracks, and offered us 3 fridge magnets as a gift. He told us that he loved welcoming new visitors into his beautiful town, and he just wanted to give this gift to us as a way for us to remember our visit. We graciously accepted the gift and we started walking away. I just remembered how touched I was by the old man's generosity. He genuinely just wanted to make us feel welcome in his city, and he didn't really expect us to buy anything in return. And it was the old man's genuineness combined with the fact that we were feeling like we needed to give something back to him that I actually walked back up the bridge and bought 3 more magnets from him as a thank you. As a beginner videographer with no experience and no portfolio, you don't really have any sort of track record to attract new clients. But what you do have is your ability to add value. And this is the mindset that we adopted from the very beginning. Every time that you come across a brand or a business, don't think, how can I sell my videography services to them? Instead, ask yourself this question: what is one way that I can add value first with my skill set? When you do this for long enough, when you give value without expecting anything in return, you're gonna find that a lot of people are gonna start wanting to work with you, even though you're a beginner with no portfolio and no experience. Step 2 is to put yourself out there as quickly as possible. So now you've made the important mindset shift of always trying to add value first without expecting anything in return. Now it's time to build your portfolio and get yourself out there as quickly as possible. As our first paying client, this was a pretty memorable experience. The gig was to film a 3-day Caribbean festival that involved a white party on day 1, a paint party on day 2, and then a Caribbean dress-up boat party on day 3. And I remember on the second day, when we were getting ready for the paint party, I asked the client, how did you find us and what made you choose to work with us? And this is what he said. He said he was looking around on Instagram for a videographer. So he actually typed in the search bar, Sydney videographer, came across our page, clicked on it, and watched the videos that I posted of all the free shoots that I'd done a few months prior, and really liked the quality of our videos. And that's when I learned my second lesson about getting clients as a beginner videographer. As you're going around adding value and shooting these free videos for your portfolio, it's important to get those videos out as quickly as possible, even if they're not perfect. There's a very popular saying that I always go back to, which is done is better than perfect. Now, a lot of videos on YouTube recommend you build a portfolio in a niche that you want to work in, which is very sound advice. If a client in a particular industry is going to hire you, they're going to want to see a bit of a track record of past videos that you've done in that industry. But I want to be completely honest with you guys. And back in 2019, when we first started as complete beginners, we had no idea what niche we wanted to go in. When we were first starting out, we had a cooking channel on YouTube and there was all these new restaurants around our area that we wanted to try. So our initial portfolio was very food and restaurant heavy. We created those videos and posted them up as soon as possible once we had finished them. And the odd thing is, our first paying client was actually an event organizer for a Caribbean party. I mean, our portfolio videos at the time were completely unrelated to what he needed. He must have seen our slow motion shots of beef sizzling in a pan and thought, you know what, those guys must be really good at filming Caribbean girls twerking at a party. Jokes aside, based on our experience, when you're starting out as a complete beginner, I think it's more important just to get yourself out there as quickly as possible rather than waste too much time worrying about what your niche is and crafting a perfect body of work for that niche. Oftentimes what stops us from making any progress, especially in the beginning stages when you haven't really seen any sort of results, is that feeling of needing everything to be perfect before you put yourself out there. As one of my favorite historical figures, Winston Churchill, says, perfection is the enemy of progress. At this point of your journey, you need to prioritize getting as much real life experience as possible. You can always find your niche and narrow down a little bit later on. So don't feel discouraged if you're just starting out and you don't really know what particular industry that you want to work in. And obviously there's no point in building a portfolio if no one sees it. You still need to put yourself out there. So the way that we made our portfolio visible when we first started was housing our videos on an Instagram page and adding relevant hashtags to each post to drive traffic to our Instagram page. That way, every time someone was looking for a videographer on Instagram, for example, and they typed in Sydney videographer, our profile would pop up. They would click on our profile and they'd be able to go through our portfolio of videos. And as I mentioned before, this was actually how we got our first paying clients as complete beginners. Another method that we got our portfolio seen was to upload those portfolio videos onto a YouTube channel and then sending links to specific videos to clients that we wanted to work with. In this case, because you're directly reaching out to someone, it is important that the videos that you are sending them are relevant to their industry. So for example, our initial portfolio was food and restaurant heavy. So in that case, I'd only be sending those videos to owners of restaurants or owners of food brands, for example. If I'd sent those food and restaurant videos to a dentist, they'd be like, why are you sending this to me?
Why?
Now, if you're enjoying this video and you're getting some value from it, make sure you hit the subscribe button below. On this channel, we make videos about filmmaking, self-development, and business to help you not only become a better videographer, but also just a better version of yourself in life. Number 3 was realizing that a good attitude beats amazing videos. In April 2020, we received an inquiry email from a developer who constructed residential towers across Australia. The email came from the marketing manager of the company looking for a quote for a specific video project. Little did she know that on the other end of that email were just 2 guys doing this as a side hustle / hobby on the weekends and after work. Anyway, so after about 2 months of back and forth communication, we finally agreed on a scope, budget, and shoot date. After the project was completed, the client was so happy with our enthusiasm and work that they ended up using us for all their projects going forward. 3 years later, we're still working with that client, and over that period, that relationship has brought in over $100,000 worth of business. I'm telling you this story because it highlights one of the most important lessons I've learned in my journey, and that's the importance of having a good attitude. Technical videography skills and how to make a good video can be taught. If you go on YouTube, there are a ton of videos talking about how to achieve a cinematic image, color grading, and sound design. But from our experience, those technical videography skills are oftentimes not the real reason clients come back to work with us. Especially as a beginner starting out, you're gonna have a lot of other videographers out there who can make a better video than you. But what's gonna make you stand out is going to be your attitude. We rocked up to shoots with energy and a big smile. We were kind to people, we worked hard, and we gave our 110% to make sure we gave the best possible product to the client. In short, we were easy to work with and clients came back because they liked us. This leans into one of the other weapons of influence that Robert Cialdini talks about in his book Influence, which is liking. People generally prefer to say yes to people that they know and like. As human beings, we tend to gravitate to those who share similar views, interests, and values as ourselves. And obviously you can't get everyone to like you, and you shouldn't really go out of your way just to please other people. But if you're genuinely kind to people and you display a positive attitude and you do good work, you're going to find that a lot of people will want to work with you. So if you're a complete beginner looking to get some videography clients for yourself, here are 3 guidelines to follow. Number 1, look for opportunities to add value without expecting anything in return. Money is merely a tool for exchanging value. So if you get into the mindset always adding value first, the money will come later. Number 2, start putting yourself out there as quickly as possible. Perfection is the enemy of progress, and done is better than perfect. Number 3, have a good attitude and be kind to people, because that's going to be the one thing that's going to differentiate you from all the other videographers who might be able to produce a better video. Applying these 3 principles to not only my videography journey, but my life in general has completely changed the course of my career and how I view life. When I graduated from university in 2018 and started my full-time job in 2019, I thought the only path for me was to work a 9-to-5 job for the next 40 years of my life, retire, and then die. I never thought it was possible for me to generate income myself without relying on a boss. But once I learned how to find clients and generate income on my own terms, this meant one thing for my life: freedom to live life on my own terms and not have to rely on a 9-to-5 job. And for me, that was the most liberating feeling in the world. So if you're feeling stuck in a 9-to-5 and you're not quite sure what you want to do in life, I encourage you to learn. Learn how to add value to society. Learn how to acquire clients and then get paid for your worth. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you got any value out of this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell button so you get notified every time we post a new video. If you want to hear more about our journey of how Jason and I went from complete beginners to full-time filmmakers in the space of 2 years, make sure you subscribe to our email newsletter, link in the description box down below. In our newsletter, we go a little bit deeper into our journey and share tips and tricks along the way to help you become not only a better videographer, but just a better version of yourself in general.